recording audio?
Recording.
All right. Welcome to episode number 51. We went into the kind of black hole universe of episode numbers over the last three, but we are officially on number 51. Isn't that right, Allie?
Correct.
Yes, that is correct, she says. And so on today's show, I've got a special guest. Now, not a musician, but I do occasionally like to have comedians on the show because I find the similarities and differences between comedy and writing a bit and writing a song and performing to be both different and similar in ways, and I find it really interesting to talk about that. So we have a comedian on the show today, but before I announce who it is, I want you to go down there and like and subscribe and do the thing, whatever that is. Comment, right? Is that what people do? They comment, or what do they do? Put it on Reddit or something? Or yeah, don't send nudes. I don't want nudes. Well, maybe send nudes. So on today's show. Oh, well, wait, before I do that, too, don't forget to go and purchase some merch. And the only one I've thought to bring, well, I didn't really think to bring it. It was just kind of here next to me, is our phone cases for the band. So the Patrick Jaouen Band has phone cases, all shapes, sizes, just like your lovers. And you can get T-shirts, you can get hoodies. What else? We got some new crew necks out there, Legend crew necks and Legend hoodies and T-shirts and the like. We've got stickers and stuff, so that helps to support the show. And, of course, the liking and subscribing does as well. On today's show, finally, and without further ado, we have the one and only Mr. Shawn Hennessy. Welcome to the show, Shawn.
Hi, my name is Shawn Hennessy.
Well, welcome to the show, Shawn. We've been friends for a while, and I haven't had you on the show, but I've been trying to, and I know I in particular was the one that probably caused it to be delayed as much as it was, because you got back to me pretty promptly, but I did not get back promptly. It got lost in my mental fog. So I'm sorry about that.
That's okay.
Shawn, but you're here now. So why don't we take a moment here to tell the people at home and the people sitting on their couch and the people, quite frankly, that are sitting on the toilet, maybe listening and watching this, where they can find your content so that they can, go do that right now.
Yeah, I'm online. I'm on the web. That's where I'm at. You can find me at Instagram under Shawn Hennessy Comedy. I'm also on YouTube. And you can be weird and friend me on Facebook, too. That's cool, too. I like friends.
Ooh, friend you on Facebook.
People still use it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What about are you on Tinder? Are you married, or can people find you on Tinder, or what, or Grindr, or what are the other ones now? There's a whole bunch of different ones now. A Bumble, or you want to throw those out there?
Yeah, sure. Catch me on there. If you see me on there, say
hi.
Only
Only if you're hot. That's his only rule.
Say, hey, I saw you on the pod.
Super hot. But thanks for coming on the show, Shawn.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. And as we always do here, in order to kind of do an icebreaker, so to speak, we usually do the two truths and a lie. So I know I asked you just before this, are you prepared to do this?
Yes.
And you are. Shawn is ready, everybody. Shawn is ready. All right, you ready to do this? We're good to go? All right, let's give it a beat here, and we'll get to it. And we're back.
Hi.
We're back now. So, Shawn, why don't you go ahead and throw out your three statements?
Sure.
And I'll try and pick out. And Allie is a little better at this than I am, to be perfectly honest. So usually she gets them. I think I've gotten one in the 51 episodes. Correct. Right. So, yeah, let's do it.
Cool. My two truths and a lie. All right, number one. I was once interviewed by a Japanese news station.
Ooh.
Number two, I was a vegetarian for about 3 years. And three, I once met Gene Simmons in a Wegmans.
So Gene Simmons.
In a Wegmans.
Yes.
In a Wegmans. Vegetarian or vegan?
Vegetarian.
Vegetarian for several years. And then interviewed by
a Japanese newscaster in Japan. Okay. I mean, not a newscaster, a reporter. It was a reporter.
All of those could be true. Can I ask one follow-up question?
You can ask one follow-up question per thing. That's the rule. But it has to be a very vague follow-up question.
All right. The rule master said I can ask one. Was Gene Simmons nice to you, or?
Yes.
Ooh. That throws me for a loop because I think we did the shame on you to him. We tried to start this new bit, which we might still. I might start it now, just in case. Don't tell me what's true yet. But we did a shame on you to Gene Simmons because of his latest stunt.
Pay to be a roadie.
That's right, the pay to be a roadie. And he did come clean and say the reason that it was so expensive is because of the insurance costs of having a person come on.
A little fishy.
Yeah, it sounds like. Yeah, I've heard from a lot of interviews and things that I've seen about meeting him.
Yeah,
he's not a real nice guy. He's really into the money, and which is fine. Make some money, you know. I'm gonna say.
Japanese?
I'm gonna say the vegetarian.
You think
I'm gonna say that is the lie. What are you saying?
That's what I was going to go with, but because I thought maybe it's vegan instead for 3 years, and that's the...
Oh, like a play. So he's actually vegan for 3 years, not vegetarian.
reason for guessing that?
Is that what you're going with, Allie?
I got to go against you.
So what you're going against me with what?
I'm going to go Gene Simmons.
Allie's going Gene Simmons.
Is that the final verdict? Is that?
I think that. Are we locking it in? That's a new. By the way, the teenagers are all saying that in a different way. Locked in means like really focused on what you're. You know what you're doing. So if you're going to go work out, you want to be locked in.
I thought that's been around for a while.
I'm
old,
but they're using it. They're using it excessively now. Like I hear it more times than I want to hear it.
Right.
In a day, locked in.
Yeah.
All right. So, but yes, we're locked in. So we're both going with.
You're going vegetarian. I'm going to go Gene Simmons.
Oh, so Allie's going Gene Simmons. I'm going vegetarian. I'll do a little drum roll and.
Patrick guessed it correctly.
Oh, surprise! Yes. Winner, chicken dinner. So is it like what Allie said, where you were actually vegan?
Not at all.
Okay. I figured most comedians. There's not a lot of vegetarian comedians.
I know a few.
Do you?
Yeah. I had a brief time in when I moved out, right. Was a pseudo-vegetarian because I was too lazy to buy chicken and meat and stuff.
Yeah, when you first start, you're on your own, it's hard to cook chicken, right?
Yeah, they buy a crock pot and it's so easy.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that is true.
But those other two facts were real.
See, my dad used to cook a lot. My grandfather owned a restaurant, so I learned to cook when I was super young. But so I never had the chicken and that stuff. I always.
Roll back to Gene Simmons.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we're getting to that. But I was actually vegan for several years, and then vegetarian for a few more after. So probably about 5 years total in that. You know what did me in?
What?
Pizza.
Yeah, vegan pizza tastes bad.
Yeah, the cheese in general is kind of it doesn't melt right. Mm-hmm. It's got this weird nutty taste to it. But I was walking by a pizza place, and I was like, I gotta go in there and get a slice.
Because you were living in New York then too, right?
Yeah.
That's tough.
I was struggling, and I had walked a really long way, and I was starving, and I was like, oh, what's it gonna hurt to? And then that was the end of the vegetarian. And then eventually, now I'm just eating cows, like apples.
Yeah,
I just pick them up, moo, and
it's called
eating
blue
them
rare.
Yeah. So the other two things though now.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll start with the first one, the Japanese newscast. How did that come about?
So. This was something I just remembered, but because I could never find the video of it. I was in Japan for a couple of weeks in 2019. I went solo, traveled to Japan.
Just for fun? Or?
Yeah. And I was in a town called Nara. I don't know if you've heard about that. No. It's famous for this park that's inhabited by all these deer, these little tiny deer. And people feed them and they name their basketball team after deer and stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I went there for a day and I stayed in a hostel there. And there was when I was checking in, they were saying we're going to have a film, a newscaster come in and interview this musician who's coming in. He was playing like with the shamisen, like the big,
Yeah.
traditional
Yep.
Japanese thing. And so I was like, oh, cool. So
Like a big guitar almost.
yeah, it's fretless. I think 3 strings.
Yeah.
Cool. It was, I like that kind of stuff. And they were just interviewing people there, and I guess I was interesting enough. Like, this is an American. I imagine when they show it, just an American.
It just says, yeah.
There's a guy there translating for me because like, oh, what did you think about the music? And I was like, it was cool. Like, what do you want me to say?
American says music was cool. Is that?
Average American.
Is it? Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah. So
So are you famous now over there?
I
If
have
you go
no
over
idea.
there?
I haven't been since.
May,
but-
what if they have just like T-shirts they made of you and stuff? Like you go over there one day and you're just huge in Japan.
That'd be cool.
Like Shawn Hennessy. Shawn.
They have comedy clubs up there, English comedy clubs
Yeah.
in Japan. So.
Did you do any comedy while you're
No,
out
this
there?
is years before I did it. This was, yeah.
Very interesting. And we'll get into when and why you got into comedy shortly.
Yeah.
But before I know, Allie is itching to know about the Gene Simmons
Yes.
encounter. So, and I apologize, Gene Simmons, if I've offended you, but I kind of don't. Yeah, I don't
It's
really
okay.
apologize
I think you
that
can
much.
sleep through it.
I mean, if he's going to ever pay me to be on tour or something, then I apologize. If not, I'm good.
Right.
So how did you run into Gene Simmons in a grocery store? Not here in Rochester.
It was, yeah.
No shit.
Yes. So this was a promotional event that he did for his Moneybag Soda. That's his name.
I remember that.
Yes.
That was before COVID, right?
Yes.
It was like 5 years ago or something.
Yeah. And it was the cheapest meet and greet I've ever done for the man who notoriously charges thousands of dollars to meet.
Oh, really?
Oh my God. The Gene Simmons meet and greets are so expensive.
So
At, like,
what?
Kiss
what-
concerts.
Well,
and
what
stuff.
did you pay for the?
$25.
Huh?
And so it wasn't like I got to hang out with them. I barely
Did you get
said
to take
anything.
a picture?
Oh
or
yeah,
anything,
I have the
all that kind of
picture.
thing?
Yeah.
What a racket.
No.
I should start charging for pictures and stuff, when I have concerts, just everyone's like, who is that a-hole charging to take pictures? But you know what's funny about that? There's something to be said about the pomp and circumstance of being larger than life like that. At least when you play music, I think comedians have to be more down to earth. Like I think
Yeah.
people would not find you as funny although maybe I could be wrong with that, because there are some comedians that are very like stars,
I mean, yeah.
but there's something to be said about like believing that you're this amazing thing that you can charge. Oh, do you want to take a picture with me?
Yeah.
$25 to take a picture with me, right?
In my mind, it's like if I'm at a concert and I buy a record or a CD or a T-shirt, or whatever, and it's like you let them take the picture. Whatever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
who cares?
Yeah, yeah.
But like you see some of these like celebrities like charging like hundreds of dollars to meet, somebody. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Yeah, it's
can't
kinda
justify
crazy.
that.
Yeah, we don't really do that. I just kind of go out into the crowd and I'm like a cheap, dirty Pat.
Right.
When I play shows, I just go out into the audience and give all my everything away for free. but so I did. I'll give a little background here on how me and Shawn kind of became acquainted and started really talking to each other. Was a comedy thing that we did here in Rochester. Was that almost 2 years ago now?
1 year ago.
Or 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Wow, man. But it was a music/comedy thing, and all the comedians had to pick a song that they wanted to sing, but like sing along with my band, with the Patrick Jaouen band, which was fun. But then you guys also did a whole like set, like 10-minute set or whatever, based on that song, right? That was the whole point of it. So did you have dreams of being a rock star? Do you play music yourself? Like, where is your
Well, you see my hair. Of course, I wanted to be a musician.
Yeah,
Come
yeah.
on. But yeah, I mean that the cliche is true. Like all musicians want to be comedians. All
Yeah.
comedians want to be
Yeah.
musicians. So that was like living a dream. Like that was like one of the most like fun.
You did
experiences.
which song did you did? Smells like Teen Spirit. Yeah.
Which, funny enough, didn't pick that song.
Yeah.
I replaced somebody last minute for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Surprisingly, the only reason we ever cover that song is because we started doing it for that gig, and my drummer hates it. He's like, I can't stand It Smells Like Teen Spirit. So, but now we do it because
That's funny.
because of that show.
I'm not a big Nirvana guy myself.
Oh, really?
I appreciate them. Like I like
But do you play an instrument?
I play a little guitar. Okay. Yeah, I have a guitar and a bass, and I noodle around with it a little bit. I feel like I was better back when I was a teenager, but I've been a little rusty on it.
Yeah, you got to keep playing. Like even if I take a few weeks off or whatever, it ends up going away. So I feel like that's similar to kind of the comedy experience, right? If you don't get up in front of a crowd, like what's that? What would you say is the amount of time you can spend away from like an open mic and whatever before you start getting a little like real rusty?
I know the answer. Yeah.
Do you?
I track. Here's something, Patrick. I track every show I do.
Oh, that's
I have a spreadsheet, and and
that's good.
I every open mic, every produced show, every hosting thing, everything. So if I go longer than a week, it just feels weird. If I go longer than 2 weeks, it's especially tough.
Do you have? So when you say tough, right? Do you mean you have this compulsion to do it? Like with regards to music, and Allie knows this very well. I have to play music. It's whether it be at an open mic or just here or around whatever. I have this like compulsion to do it. Is it similar with comedy for you, where like you kind of need to do it to get it out of you, so to speak?
Yeah. I mean, at least in my opinion, for comedy, it's like, for me, if I don't do it in front of people, including people I don't know, especially, then I feel like it doesn't count, really,
Well, that's interesting, actually. So how do you practice comedy
Writing process.
if you're not in front of an audience? Like that always... So like me, right? I can sit here and I can play and I can sing.
Yeah.
And okay, I've got to get the reaction from the audience, but not necessarily.
Sure.
Right? If it affects me in some way, I kind of have an idea that like an audience is going to respond to it. But I feel like comedy is a different animal in that regard.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Writing is great. I mean, obviously, like we're all songwriters, comedy, right? There's at least on surface level some similarities, but in my opinion, with comedy, what makes it so rewarding for me is how you could have the best written joke in the world, but you can go up on stage and it can totally flop. And as a comic, you have to self-reflect and be like, okay, was it me? Was it the room?
Right.
Was the sound off? Was the mic turned too low? Or, there's different factors with it. So usually with most comics, we'll trial a joke at least 3 times and then see if it works. But it's not that cut and dry. It's not so scientific like that.
Yeah.
I've gotten into heated arguments about this. But it's like, it's not, the same joke isn't going to work the same way every time.
Yeah.
Just like with music, the audience is going to react the same way every time. Or maybe they do. I don't know.
No, they don't. It definitely depends on the room. And I'll alter. My band hates this too, because sometimes I'll alter sets like midway through a set, because I'm like, it's not happening the way I thought this room was going to react to it. So I'll be like, let's do this song and that song instead.
Yes.
And especially my piano player sometimes, because he programs stuff into his keyboard. He's like, you got to stop changing this. I'm like, well, we got to entertain the audience. So if they're not being entertained, they're being bored by what we're doing. We got to change it so that they are entertained. How do you start writing a bit? Like, where does that kind of come from? Is it something that comes to you as you're just walking around? Do you sit down and say, I'm going to think about it? Like, what's your process for writing a bit?
I wish I could just sit down and just write bits for 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day, but for me, they kind of come to me when I'm doing anything else. So I'll be at the gym, I'll be driving, I'll be, having dinner or something. I'll be like, oh, I have an idea. Or you see something, you'll read an article about something like, oh, that's weird. And then you kind of take that and tweak it into a bit. A lot of things about like current events can kind of trigger it too. Like, for example, like with the Pope, like there's the new Pope now. So now people are writing Pope jokes,
But how does it, does it usually start as just like like, oh, this is a funny correlation between this and that.
Yes.
And then you really have to like work it out in front of people? Or is it something where you kind of find like, oh, I can kind of work it out, the storyline of it, and then work out the details of it, let's say?
I try to at least have the skeleton of a bit out before I go up, and but like, if you're at an open mic, then that's usually where I like to look at that as the gym. That's the gym for comedians, where it's like you're not gonna televise it. It's not gonna be like it's like watching batting practice for MLB. It's like you're probably not gonna watch it. Some people might. I mean, it's like people do go to open mics to watch and not perform, which is great.
Do you film yourself ever? Like to see
sometimes? Yeah, I try to for hear audience reaction to bits or look at stage presence on my end. Just it's in obviously for clips, for online that helps too. But for me, especially hearing what parts of jokes people react to,
right?
Because it could be a phrasing, it could be just an unexpected part of the joke, which might just be something I do without even consciously knowing about.
Right,
it.
and you're like, oh, that's interesting. Actually.
Yeah.
So is there? Because I'm used to writing a song, right? So I typically, there's some form or structure to the song. Like, you have intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus, outro of the chorus, verse, bridge. So there's sort of a format that's standardized. Is there something kind of similar in comedy that you tend to write a bit in that way, or is comedy so dependent on the person that's telling the jokes? You get what I mean? Like your style, that there's really not a...
I do a combination. I know some people who strictly do one-liners, for example. We all know how that works. It's like, well, here's the situation, here's the punch, all in one thing, which is great. And I have a few one-liners that I use intermittently, and then it's traditional longer form where it's, here's the situation, I'm going to talk a little bit, and then go, here's the punch. Or you can just go all punches and just keep adding parts to the end of it. Or storytelling, which I don't do a ton of, but I know people who can do that. Storytelling is just you tell the story and then you have little funny moments throughout it. And it's a lot tougher than people think. Some people will just go to, I'm not talking to anyone in particular, but I'll go to an open mic and some people will just talk about their day, which is like fine, but there's usually not a joke to it. Yeah,
they just get up there and talk. Like, you've got to have some that. I mean, I've noticed that also with. What's that?
What comedians is he?
Yeah, like is there a particular comedian that you could equate your style to?
I don't know. I can tell you the ones I was influenced by, whether it.
How about the ones you hate?
What?
What about the comedians you hate?
I'm not saying that. I need all the gigs I can get. I'm not.
Not locally, just the super famous one. So if you ever get famous, this will crop back up. And you could be, I'm sorry, I didn't
Jerry
mean
Seinfeld.
to. Just like Gene Simmons. If I
love Gene Simmons. I'm the Gene Simmons apologist here.
I don't Gene Simmons. You've got some work to do. At home, Gene Simmons, okay?
I mean, I'll say it. Paul Stanley played more bass on the Kiss records, and he did. We all know this. All the Kiss fans know this.
He had the tongue, though, I think.
He's the face of the band.
I'm gonna drag.
He had the worst solo before, I'll say that much. He did. They made... So here's an aside. I'm not avoiding the question, but Kiss came out in 1978. Each of the band members came out with their own solo albums. They released it on the same day. Gene Simmons had by far the worst one of the four. Peter Criss had a better one.
Did you just say they had 4?
Yes.
Solo albums?
Correct.
I don't think I've ever heard a single Gene Simmons solo.
Because they're not that good.
Yeah, I bet they're not very
good. Love you, Gene, but come on.
Kiss was good. My older brother was in a Kiss cover band back in the day. So that's why I know a lot of them. I was never that into them, though.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's a band for 10-year-olds.
I know. It's like a cartoon band.
Oh, of course. I got into it when I was 10. Yeah. So it's like, that's the perfect age to be into Kiss.
So you got into Kiss at 10. When did you start getting, did you admire comedians at any point when you were younger? Like, what made you say, okay, I have this guitar here, and I love music and whatever. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and go the comedy route, because I once did some comedy in between songs at a show, and I realized that I should not get into comedy shows.
I've heard some of your jokes.
Yeah, they're not very good.
In my case, I got into it through like sketch comedy, like Saturday Night Live and Mad TV and stuff like that. Shout out to Bobby Lee, by the way, because like I said, I think I kind of the two truth and a lie thing came from Bad Friends. So shout out to Bad Friends too. I love you, Bobby Lee. But I watched a lot of sketch comedy, and then later on, like Whose Line Is It Anyway, the improv stuff and all that.
I think aren't they? Someone from Whose Line Is It Anyway is coming soon.
Yeah, I think
Rochester.
a couple. I think Colin Mockery is coming around, and some of that. This will really date the episode, but that's okay.
So did you try and like imitate that, like improv and stuff like that? Or
really, I mean, later on, briefly, yeah. But then, so from sketch, I got into stand up. So like, you know, at 13, 14 years old, probably started watching specials, and then like, Ron White was one that I listened to really early on.
oh wow, Ron White.
Yeah, and then like George Carlin.
I wouldn't have pegged that.
Yeah, I
Ron
don't really
White
do that kind. That's why like with influences, like I don't do that kind of style clearly, but
Yeah.
I like hearing different perspectives and seeing the different joke structures and personas. Like the way that he conducts himself is different than I do. Dimitri Martin's a big influence on me.
I like him.
Love Dimitri Martin. I think that's a pretty big one on my early on comedy journey.
So what was the first time you actually wrote? Well, I guess I'm not going to assume that you had anything written before your first open mic or your first time on stage. Can you maybe give some insight to, let's say there's a young kid watching this or something, and they're just going to get into comedy and they're going to do their first open mic ever, right? Like, what was your experience the first time you did it, and how did that go for you, I guess?
So it took me about 4 months from starting to write to performing on stage. I took in some ways the kind of the frowned upon thing of taking a comedy class, but for me, I thought it was the necessary step for me to.
Well, like
do
you
it.
said, some people at an open mic get up and just talk about the day, and it's not comedy.
Right.
So I think that is probably a good thing to do, to know, because I always knew the structure of songs from my family is a musician, so I kind of knew the parts, but I don't think that's a bad thing.
No, I mean neither. As for me, it was like hey, I'm investing my time and my money into something.
Yeah, like
and
being a professional at it.
Yeah. And the person who taught my class, I'll name drop, shout out to Steve Wrigley.
There you go, Steve Wrigley.
The second funniest comedian from New Zealand. Love you, buddy. It's a small country. That's the joke. All right. No, Steve's great.
I do. Isn't what are those musicians, the comedy musicians?
The Flight of the Conchords.
Flight of the Conchords.
Okay, sorry,
One
Steve.
of my favorite
Steve,
shows.
you're what does that make you? You're
Be third, maybe?
the fourth funniest.
fourth, yeah,
There's
'cause
another guy before that. Yeah. So Steve, you're the fourth funniest. All right.
Beautiful. No,
but
standing with greatness.
right, he would love that. So I took that class. It was a month-long class, 6-week class, and there was a comedy showcase at the end of it.
Huh.
And I was out of the country during that, so I missed my first show.
Oh wow!
And I was watching the video for it. You know, they filmed it, and I watched everyone's set, and I was like, "Oh my god, I should have been there." And I was out, like I said, I was out of the country for that, so I was on the fence about doing open mic. I was maybe not this week. I'm not ready yet. I had the set. I had my 5.
Yeah.
It wasn't perfect.
So 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Man.
But I did that. So that was
How did it-
August 2022.
How did it? Were you scared out of your mind
Scared
to get up on
shitless.
stage? What did it feel like? Did you even know what the audience was? How they were? Well, I guess you're probably super tuned into what they're doing in the audience, right?
Yes.
At that point,
I was so scared. And it was actually out of all places.
did you bomb?
No.
Terribly? Oh,
No.
you did all right.
No, I was at Loving Cup
Oh,
for it.
excellent. All right.
And you know who was first? Who performed first that night?
Who did? Oh,
This guy.
Well, that's why you did so well,
Right.
Because I set the crowd up for comedy with my music.
Right, exactly.
Meaning, it was so comical what I was doing that they were like, "Oh, it's a comedy night. That's fantastic."
I'll tell you what, Patrick. Now that we're really getting the heat of it, I don't know if you were in the room for this. I don't think you were, but you did Radiohead. You did Creep, which is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a core part of your set, which is great. And so, my original intention with stand-up was to be a purely clean comic.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't originally going to curse on stage, and my first set, I ruined it because I referenced your song. It's so fucking special.
Yeah.
All your friends laughed. It was great.
Awesome. Yeah,
But I couldn't even tell if you were in there because I wasn't used to stage lights. Even at Loving Cup, I was like, I couldn't see very well into the audience even there.
Yeah. Well, they have a real stage.
Yes.
That's what I love about that place. And we were kind of talking about that
please.
before. Yeah. Shout out to Loving Cup, Leslie, who owns the place. Shout out to Anya and
Shout out to Matt. He hates when you say his name.
Yeah, Matt.
Cheers to you, buddy.
Matt, who is, I don't know if he's been on this show. Maybe
you should
my
get on.
other podcast, I've had him on in the past. But yeah, shout out to all those guys because that open mic is fantastic. I mean,
love
they've
that
got a legit stage, legit lights.
Yes.
Everyone's super friendly.
Yeah.
They're great to the artists that show up. They've got food. It's not a dive bar. You know, they got food. They got that sort of thing. They should really be sponsoring the show at this point. I should reach out to them and see if they're interested. But like, that place is great because you can also get a good gauge on if what you're doing is working.
Yeah.
Because, like I was saying before, the venue isn't completely dependent on the performer to get people in.
Right.
So sometimes there's people in there that don't know that you know there's going to be music or whatever performances on stage. So you have to win them over
For 100%.
You know. So I know I'm getting the 5 minute here, but I want to touch base on one other thing here because when you know a bit is working, I'm supposing you try and do it the same way every time, right? And then the question is going to be like, I'm also supposing that sometimes it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Does that push you to change it, or do you chalk that up to like, oh, it's just a?
It depends on how committed to the bit I am. If it's a bit that I genuinely feel like it's better than people are receiving, then I'll try it again, or I'll change the inflection, or I'll do something. I'll do a little dance on stage, just something weird, something to be like, okay, give me something for that. And also there's plenty of ones that I've had where I just shelve it. I try not to say I've scrapped bits because I will bring back some stuff from over a year ago and it'll still work. But I think having a re-looking at it later and being able to perform it more confidently or louder, whatever, I think that can help make an old bit work.
So the question of the hour before we do the old pimping out of stuff, when are you going to do a YouTube special for me? 15 minutes, Sean. That's all I want. I'll even film it. I'll bring these cameras out. We'll do a 15-minute special.
Does
at
YouTube
Loving
get
Cup.
negative views?
That would be terrible. You put it up on YouTube and it's like negative. People just want it removed
Right.
from it.
100th episode, Sean agrees
Ooh, if we do 100 episodes of this show, Sean.
We have everybody come back.
Live in the basement.
Yeah, live. We'll do. Well, I don't know would comedy work in this?
I've done
space?
comedy on decks. I've done comedy in garages. I've done comedy in plenty of basements. Like that's,
Same, yeah.
I mean, yeah,
with
no.
music.
It's just an issue of people.
Usually what I do in the bedroom is a comedy show. So
Hey,
that's
now.
what
I'm
I
always
was gonna make
laughing.
was that a good joke, Sean?
That was a
Was
fantastic joke. I was laughing so hard.
It's not a joke, unfortunately, Sean.
The truth hurts.
All right. I know that felt super quick.
I know.
So I
Yeah.
do want to have you on again.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're willing. As soon as your
Absolutely.
special comes out, we'll have you back.
Are you producing it? Are you
I will. If you want me to, I will, Sean. I promise you, I will. But we're going to have you on again.
Sweet,
if you're good with that.
Absolutely.
And if do you have anything you want to, shows coming up?
Yeah.
I mean, probably go out a little bit further and tell them where you're going to be performing.
I'm
And
definitely doing this from
again,
memory.
where they can find you if they want to follow you on social media and all that. kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Hopefully it's coming out soon because this is all stuff for June.
Next Monday. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay, cool. I guest host a open mic in East Rochester at Village Rock Cafe the first Wednesday of every month. That'll be June 4th at Village Rock Cafe. It's a lot of fun. It's a cool room.
Nice.
A real stage. It's fun. Friday the 6th, June 6th, I'll be at AltBar. It's cool, NA, an alcoholic bar out in Rochester. So I'll be doing some
I
time
think
up
it's the
there.
first one in Rochester, right?
I think so, yeah. Saturday, June 21st, I'll be at the Church of Satire in Hanover, Pennsylvania for the Good Karma Arts Festival. That's going to be a super fun show. I'm looking forward to that. And then Friday, June 27th and Saturday, June 28th, I will be at the Battler's Knob Comedy Fest in Philippi, West Virginia.
Battler's Knob.
Yes.
That was my nickname in college.
I applied to that festival just because of the name. I'm like, I gotta go.
What is a knob? A knob has to be.
Knob like KNOB.
Just go to the wide, yeah. So a knob has to be some form of geographical. What is that called? Geo.
Knob gobbler.
That's what I think.
No, but like Knob Creek, right?
Oh,
it's got to be some sort of
geographical. It's
like
West Virginia,
thing,
so
know?
it might be something with the Appalachian Mountains or something, right? Is that where it is?
She loves knobs.
knobs.
I'm looking forward to it.
Everyone loves knobs.
I mean, any excuse to go to Philippi, West Virginia.
I've never even heard. What is it? Philippi?
Philippi, I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh my!
I got to learn that
Shout
before I
out to
go.
Philippi, West Virginia. West Virginia, country road.
Don't have the money.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we can't pay John Denver for that.
Yeah. You're not getting shit, John Denver.
He's dead now. It's all right.
Shame.
Shame on Denver. What did Denver do?
John Denver.
What would John Denver do?
He was a saint.
He wasn't a good pilot. That's all I got to say.
But Sean, I know we wanted to get into, because we are drinking cognac
Yes.
here, your last name being French, because we're both French.
Bada bing.
But maybe we save that for the last. Do you know where in France your family's from?
Oh God, I don't know.
North, south, east, west?
All I know is they.
Do you know the city or anything?
No, not even. I know they went from France to Canada and snuck in through the States through Canada. So that's all I know.
French. The French.
Right.
My dad moved here when he was 5. He's from Brittany, so.
Okay.
I'd be interested to know where your family's from.
Yeah,
Maybe we're related.
Maybe.
Do that.
France isn't that big a country, right? There's like 10 people there.
Right. Something like that.
There's like Jacques Pepin. There's Jacques Cousteau.
Right.
There's like 90% Jacques.
Divorced you.
All right, so thank you, Sean,
Hey,
for coming.
thanks for
out.
having
For
me.
real, we're gonna have you on the show again. Whenever you have some stuff to promote, just let me know, and we'll bring you on. Everyone at home, thanks again for watching, listening. Again, everyone on the toilet, I hope everything worked out all right. Go down on the wherever it is. I think it's over here. Like, subscribe, comment. I think I'm getting the point now. It's right here. I'm pointing at Sean's crotch at the moment. Like
that.
subscribe. I'm going to put it right there, Sean. Like, subscribe, comment down there. Don't forget, we've got merch. Patrick Jaouen, Jaouen, Patrick is the first name, .com. Go buy some cool merch. We got those cool legend things. They don't even look like merch. They look like you're just a legend, and they help support the show. Thank you, Ali, for always producing the show. We really appreciate it. We, as in me. I appreciate it, John. And we'll see you on the next one. Episode number 52 coming up soon. And as a matter of fact, I know who that's going to be, Sean.
Oh yeah.
Do you know Murray Thomas?
Oh, I know Murray Thomas.
Author, poet,
yeah.
Gentleman.
Yes.
Some would say.
He's a world traveler.
Enjoys a nice cognac, and he's back from a U.S. tour.
Oh, beautiful.
For his new book. So I'm going to have him on in a couple of weeks here.
Oh, awesome.
And we'll see him. So thanks for doing this.
Thank you for having
Glad
me.
we finally did it. And what is it again?
Say goodbye, Sean.
Oh yeah, say goodbye, Sean.
All right, keep on rocking the free world.
Oh, there you go.
Bye,
There you guys.